I'm going to call the Public Power Hour to order. And as I've said before, we have a lot of firsts. So this is the first Public Power Hour that we did not get a response from anyone to talk about anything by email. And I do think part of that has to do with the fact that we did this 2 weeks ago due to the July 4th holiday and us pushing it forward. So what I would ask, I know there are a couple of folks who are here, if you have something on your mind, we're going to be here for the next 30 minutes or so. So if you got something on your mind, we're here to listen. So is there anybody that would care to say anything? Here he comes.
Dave's got a report on the Fox scores.
Just need you to state your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Dave Sam, 765 West Martintown Road. Hello, Pat. I guess over the past several months, I've become more attuned to the fact that it's not just a North Augusta issue, but since we're here speaking about our community, the amount of cars that are disregarding yellows and reds very much concerns me. I go through many of the major intersections in town through the week, keeping a close eye for that type of activity. I don't know what can be done. I will say that a couple of years ago, I met with Chief Thomas, and at that time shared my concerns with him, asking if, as we move forward with funding, could we possibly come up with a dedicated review of that, similar to what was done when we had some of the heat cars. And I don't remember if that was federally funded, I'm not sure. But I do believe that the disregard for those traffic signals is getting worse, just in my anecdotal visits through these intersections on a daily, weekly basis. And I just thought I'd bring that to everybody's attention and see if there's not something downstream that we can do.
Are there any particular, you talking about mostly major intersections like Georgia Martintown Road, Knox Avenue? Or are you thinking more in neighborhoods? Anything? Just can you give us some ideas?
I would say
it?
West Avenue and Martintown certainly, but you could pick Carolina and Martintown, Georgia and Martintown. I don't see much at Knox Avenue, not nearly as much, but there's a decent turn arrow there to turn up. But I travel up west in Carolina a good bit to go to my home on Martintown, and so I'm sitting at those lights most frequently. And I probably would say the one that concerns me the most, because of it being a downward traveled road, but when you get in front of Bunting, right there where Maybaum is, the cars coming down the hill towards the interstate are traveling many times. It's hard to maintain 40 at that point in that road, and it's a hard view from coming out of Bunting, out of Lyndhurst, excuse me. That one may be the more treacherous one. Now, I can't speak to the number of accidents that we've had. I don't have any evidence to suggest that there's an increase in accidents, but I think just the blatant disregard, it seems, to people. Many times they're not even slowing down, and the light has turned red well before they've reached the intersection. Those are the ones that concern me. We've all gotten caught in a yellow where we've misjudged it, and we're entering the intersection rather late. That's one thing, but when the light is clearly going to turn red, does turn red, and then the car proceeds through it, those are the ones that concern me, because those types of accidents will be critical. So just thought I'd bring that to your attention.
No, I appreciate that, and I do know on the roads that DOT owns, and they own most of them, they do track accidents, because I know recently we had a situation, someone asked about an intersection, and SCDOT is aware of it, but they have a requirement of how many accidents they need to see to be able to, which is kind of insane to me. But the point is, on that side, but that doesn't mean, and I don't know what council, Pat, if in the past, what we can talk to Chief Thomas as far as, having patrolling. So I don't know that, but thank you. It is an issue. I think you're right on track. So,
but
any
what
comments
might have to happen too is Department of the DOT put some left turn lights. What's happening to light? And not that I'm holding up for anybody running light, but I know because I told my my grandchildren, you sit at that light 30 seconds before you go because somebody's gonna run it.
Look both ways.
Look
too.
both
I
ways
look
before you
both
take
ways,
off.
yes, ma'am.
But you know, they might need to consider some left turn lights on some of these places. You know, especially as busy as Martintown and Carolina, Georgia, and Martintown. These roads, I mean, there's no turn. You know, you just take a chance of turning left. So you know, DOT might consider looking at these lights and putting some turn signal lights there.
Well, we'll definitely, yes, you have a comment? Go ahead.
Bowling Road and Martintown Road. That's another one that you better stay at the stop bar before you pull out because traffic's coming both ways down the hill and if you pull out, especially for trucks coming.
I was gonna ask, I know sometimes they have the speed indicator, whatever it's called, that lets you know you're going fast in a certain area. I was gonna ask if we can try to up the frequency that gets put up and let's start putting that in some other places, especially some of the places that we've been asked about speeding. I know in some of the neighborhoods. But I don't know if we have the capability or have this type of system, but I know in some towns I've seen it where the thing will actually take a picture of you if you're going through a red light or something like that. I don't know if we have that capability. I don't even know if we have that system or if it's a possibility, but maybe it's something maybe we can look at in the budget to see if we can get one of those units that we can strategically put throughout the city to try to help catch more people.
That's a great idea. See, Mr. Sam, thank you for sharing. This has caused conversation. Our administrators are watching and taking notes. So there's a number of things here we can look at. What results we have, I don't know, but at least we can look at it. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Thank you. Comments from council. That's good. Anybody else? Come on down, sir. If you don't mind, just state your name and address for the record, please, Tom. I mean, we know who you are, but just for the record.
My name is officially William Kinney. I go by Tom. My address is 1848 Robin Road. I'd like to thank the gentleman that preceded me for his words of wisdom. I happen to live in that neighborhood where you had to cross Bunting to get, Martintown Road, if you're going from one side of Bunting to the other. Bunting's dangerous itself because it's a drive-through for people who are on Georgia Avenue. Come down through there at a rapid rate. It is unsafe. Then you have the people who like to run around the neighborhood in their hot rods with their exhaust cut out, clicked, so it's extremely loud. I like to flip them off. I try to tick them off. I did irritate one person to the point a couple of years ago. He hit his driveway so hard he broke his truck.
Okay. But Tom, tell us what you're here for, sir. Or you just want to respond to that?
Nope. I'm done.
Okay.
Okay. We need additional code enforcement officers. Bad. There's no use planting pansies and cannas and stuff like that in the middle of the road if you can't enforce code in the neighborhood. I drove over here. I took my most direct route. 17 code violations, to include one vehicle that registration has expired. Okay. Right now, I know for a fact there are over 200 code violations involving automobiles, unregistered, non-functional, or expired registrations sitting in people's yards. I know of over 200. I've got a list of them. Okay. Some of these people are going to be in a bad position. There's no garage or carport to park those cars in. So I came up with an idea that might help make some money for somebody, namely the people that sell plastic cars. What they want, because eventually somebody's going to say, I don't have a garage, I want to keep my hunk of junk. I don't have a place to put it, I don't have a carport. So came up with this idea, alternate method to deal with unregistered and non-functional vehicles in violation of section 22-64. If there is no garage or carport, the following procedures will be available to the owner of the vehicle in lieu of Impoundment. Vehicle will be parked in the yard after a plastic barrier is placed on top of the soil. The fuel will be drained from the fuel tank. All open body seams will be taped. No broken vehicle parts or other trash will be stored in the vehicle. The vehicle will be covered with a tarp. The tarp will be secured to the vehicle so that it can't be blown off. The vehicle will be subject to inspection by code enforcement if the measures outlined are not followed. The vehicle will be impounded and the owner will be responsible for all impoundment fees. I'll
Well,
leave this for
Tom,
somebody.
give that to JD for me. Thank you.
Okay.
Just keep that.
We exchanged emails this morning.
Yes, sir.
The white truck is still at the curb. After he moved it out of his yard again. I thought we had got one off the street, but he just moved it into the yard. Now it's back to the street. Wrecked vehicle, and he's in love with it. We have a ton of them. We have very few that are on the street, but the ones that are on the street seem to have developed anchors, or they put them in concrete some way. They're having difficulties telling the owners to get your junk off the road. Okay. Something needs to be done about it. There's only one department that's in charge of that, and that's the police department. So it needs to be handled, especially seeing that one of the culprits, I was talking to a friend of David's this morning, is well known in the neighborhood where I live. And I think everybody knows who I'm talking about, that were on the council before the last election. And it needs to be dealt with. And I don't care whose feelings it hurts. Because I'm not here to run a popularity contest. I'm looked at for the city.
Appreciate it.
Okay, that's it.
All right.
Y'all have a
Well,
great day.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Oh, by the way, does anybody know Martha Winburn?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, she owns this, she's in competition with the city for a place to dump garbage. They at 1804 Georgia Avenue. It's accessible by West Hugh Street. And you can look in there and
Okay.
you'll see 3+ cars plus a whole pile of garbage.
Okay.
And she keeps it from her private, so she doesn't want to share her garbage with other people.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you,
But
Tom.
you have to run into her on the street, tell her to clean up her mess.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you, Tom. All right. Anybody else? It's nice to see you. It could be something good you like. Yeah. Oh, good question. I don't know. I know it was posted, but it doesn't come to us, so I don't know. All right. Well, yeah, go ahead.
On my way in tonight, I was stopped twice on, not by policemen, but by construction crews. They are finally completing the surfacing of 5 Notch Road within the city limits. From the I-20 out to Walnut Lane has already been done. And so if you try to avoid that 5 Notch Road from Georgia to interstate, if you're going home that way, you're going to be stopped for traffic. So just a point of observation.
For the folks who are here, since y'all may not be here for the meeting, I'll tell you, because I know one gentleman is not aware of this, but what we're asking, we want to have an event on the river, okay? So what we're doing is through the end of August, we're asking citizens to give us ideas. And we've been very fortunate, Miguel at the Chronicle, Sam at the Star, both have put articles in the paper. I am hoping for the TV media to reach out for so we can do an interview to try to get that out on TV. But we have a form on the City of North Augusta's website, and it's real simple. Basically, all you have to do is put your name, email, telephone number, and tell us about an idea that you've heard about or you've seen or you've lived someplace on water that they've had that event. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to collect this list through the end of August. And then we are going to form a citizen committee. And those folks are going to filter down, depending on how many we get, they're going to filter them down to maybe a handful. And from there, we are going to send it back out to citizens and let the citizens of North Augusta vote for which event they want to have. And we're going to put it in the budget for 2022. So you are going to have a chance to dictate where some of your tax dollars are going to an event. We aren't driving it. It's not Parks and Rec's idea. It's not our idea. It's going to be the citizens of North Augusta. So we're getting some good traction the last week. So please pass the word. If you're not, you don't have a computer, you don't want to go online, I'm going to give handouts to all the council, Pat, in case you've got some folks. Or anybody, if you know anybody who may not want to go on social media, here's a handout. They can just turn it in, okay? So I'm going to get everybody some of those. So anyway, I think it's going to be an exciting opportunity for citizens to have a voice. We can get some great ideas because we have this beautiful river. It's an asset for this city. And, we're called South Carolina's riverfront.
We don't do much.
But we don't do anything on the water. So anyway, be thinking about that. You got till the end of August. So.
And Mayor Williams, and I presume, because I talked to Rick, the new guy works for Park and Recreation and this building, Alex. Alex, his wife's a physician at MC or AU, and him and me talked one day a long time at the rec. That was one of his specialties, the job he came from, promoting things on a river in big downtowns. So I don't know if Alex is included on this, but he had these just jam up ideas. And so, but he works, at the Rex with Mandy and help with Nancy Payne's job. But his name's Alex. So
Tell them submit a form.
yeah, but
Everybody can do it.
I was just,
Yes.
when he was, I said, oh my goodness, that is exciting. So,
The other thing, yes, sir. If you wait long enough, people are going to want to talk. I'm with you now. It's good to have you with us again. It's nice to have you with us again. This is your.
My name is Kevin Adams.
Yeah, Kevin, do me a favor. Speak on that microphone because we are streaming it, and I just was told that we don't speak into that, and the folks watching aren't going to be able to hear you.
Okay. My name is Kevin Adams, and I stay at 116 Rosemary Lane.
Yep.
North Augusta, South Carolina. I was wondering that, if you said the citizens are going to vote on this thing on the river,
Yes, sir.
we have a lot of people that we went to school with. The way it's zoned, they can't vote.
Good.
There are a lot of people in the Belvedere area, which is North Augusta address, but they can't vote.
Great. Thank you for that clarification. This will not be a vote as in a voting booth. This is just you go online.
Okay.
So we don't have any way of determining if they are North Augusta citizen. So it's going to be an online. That we're going to have it online, and we got to put together how we're going to do that. But we are going to have a thing where a person, because it's North Augusta, but we want everyone. I was up in North Carolina in Highlands this weekend. I ran across my old football coach, and he had read in the paper about the event on the river, Tommy Wade. And he said, well, this sounds great. I said, well, submit a request. So anyway, so this is not anything to do with, when I say vote, what I'm saying is we're going to give everybody, whoever, it's not voting as in voting for an election, just voting for a survey of, hey, this sounds like a great idea.
Okay.
So we're open. I'm not worried about it. We want as many people to give us ideas. We want whatever, because the bottom line is I don't care whether they're in Belvedere, if they're in Augusta or Columbia County. We want people to come over to us where we are and watch this event, participate on this event on the water. Because if they do that, that's going to benefit this community tremendously, economically.
So true. Because I mean, I see where.
But thank you for that clarification, because I didn't thought about that, but some people might have misunderstood that.
Yes, sir. I see where a lot of money goes over across the bridge, and it should be here. You know, I'm just saying, by the way people spend their money, it should be here.
You're preaching my language, man. I'm with you. Kevin. I'm with you.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
like.
So tell your friends. I don't care if Belvedere, Aiken County. When we get that point, you'll know. Tell them to go and check. Hey, we want this, whatever it ends up being. I don't even know.
You know, see, they was lost with no disrespect to you, but Richard Adams, I went to school with him, and they was lost because they thought they can go and vote for him, and all the people in the Belvedere Terrace area, Belvedere Ridge, we all went to school together from here to here,
Sure.
and they couldn't vote for him, and it's like, how is it that they're paying North Augusta water, but they can't vote?
Well, you actually can. You don't have to be in the city to pay for North Augusta water. We do offer that service. It's at a higher rate. But that's totally different than being annexed in the city. So that's what happened in that situation. So there are people who do not live literally in the city of North Augusta limits, but they do have North Augusta water.
And they've got a North Augusta address.
Yeah, I
They
know.
do.
I know.
But the bottom line, Kevin, you've got to pay city taxes. If you don't pay city taxes,
city.
even though you have a North Augusta address, you're not able to vote for city, like city council and mayor.
But they
it's the
can vote
city
on
ta-
this.
Yeah.
Correct. I understand that. But how does that go? I mean, who makes the zoning up to where
Well, I can tell you this, Belvedere does not want to be annexed in the city of North Augusta.
they don't want
No,
to?
they don't. They don't. We've worked on that several years, 30 years ago. Belvedere does not, they want their own little community, which I don't blame them. Plus, from the water lines, sewer lines, it would cost millions of dollars for North Augusta to go out there and hook up. But these people have to say, we want to come into the city limit. We just can't walk out there and say, all right, let's go. You come into the city limits, you know. But Belvedere, I can tell you, they just do not want to be city limit. And it is Oscarga Lake Road, Sudlow Lake Road. These are North Augusta addresses.
Right. That's
But
after
they're not
Belvedere.
city limits. That's the bottom line. And they're not taxpayers for city of North Augusta.
And that's why a lot of people don't want to be in the city.
Yeah, for the
Because they don't have
taxes.
to pay the city taxes.
Because if you pay county tax, you also have to pay city taxes.
If you're in the limits,
In the
city
city,
limits.
in the city limits, yes.
Oh, okay. See,
So
that's
I know. I'm with you though.
kinda
It's wild.
confusing.
It is. Yes, sir.
And we talk about this all the time, just all over. Whenever things were annexed years, and I'm not talking 30 years ago, 100 years, whenever the city became, we sort of what we call spot zoned, you know, here, and this house is in the city limits on Austin and Weston Street. Look, you're in the city limits, I'm not. You know, right next door to each other. So to me, that's a not a problem, but if we could gather all of our little chicks sort of under one roof, but it's not that way.
So who to talk to about that?
Well, you're looking at them. I mean, but you've got to have these people want to come into the city.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you know, if you're paying just county taxes, now to me, I'd rather pay my taxes and know I have police protection, fire protection. I push my little trash can to the street every week, water. I mean, that's worth these taxes. But a lot of people don't want that. They don't be in the county, and that's why they want it, and that's their privilege.
What's the reason that they wouldn't want it, though?
Just don't want to spend that money. I mean, pay an extra two taxes,
Oh.
county and city. But I mean, to me, the pluses of being in the city limits of North Augusta, and our taxes, we went up one time, right, Bob and David?
Yeah.
A few years ago,
Yes.
but we hadn't raised taxes here in 27 years. You know, we've made it.
But Aiken
And,
County raised their taxes.
Yeah, you see that, and Edgefield's actually a little higher taxes than we are. So, but that's just what people want. I mean, they would really run us out of town. Oh, was that our 5 minutes? Good gracious. Okay.
That's it. Well, thank you, Kevin.
Tell
That's
Kevin
great.
he's
Appreciate
fine.
it, sir.
Now, I don't know if y'all know, Kevin played baseball for North Augusta Yellow Jackets when he was a young man. He was a very good ball player.
Kevin's been here before. Sure. Uh-huh.
Once again, William Tom Kenny, 1848 Robin Road.
Speak in the microphone, Tom, so the
William Tom Kenny,
No, we know that
1848
part.
Robin Road. Okay, real quickly, there are properties that I've noticed that are being seized by the county inside the city limits. Okay. One of them happens to be 1711 Plank Road. 1711 Plank Road is a piece of property that is so deteriorated that the roof is like this. It's fallen into the property. It's been like that probably as long as I've been in North Augusta. I'm not really sure, but it's been seized. There are properties, another property there on Jones Street they're seizing. It's blank. There's no property, no house on it, but it's being seized. There are two houses in Carsville that are being seized by the county. So, am I reading this right? Are the people of North Augusta paying taxes to the county separately? Or is this some kind of slick trick that the Aiken County does, seizes property and don't let anybody know about it? Because I don't think anybody, you know, I find this out through the mapping service that's online, who owns what, because there's some, and who is doing what, because there's properties in really undesirable neighborhoods that people inside the city limits own, and they need to be contacted to clean up your mess. But that's beside the point. I just wondering, how is this happening to people in North Augusta if they're paying taxes to North Augusta and getting seized by the county?
I can't answer that question, but again, that's what this is about, gathering information, so thank you.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's another one of those wonderful oops.
Yep. Yeah, I just don't know what he's asking about.
Yeah. Yeah, but what's the city, if they're
Yeah, he's
seizing
just
the
asking
counties?
why is the county is not paying the property. He's saying his taxes are being paid,
Yeah.
but why is the county?
See, the county's getting the property.
Well, he's saying they did.
No, what I'm saying is, if the county is going to seize the property and let it go to hell in a handcart like they're doing on this at 1711 Plank Road, can the city of North Augusta say, hey, how about coming in here and clean up your act? Because there's the address right beside it, 1709 Plank, has just undergone a renovation. I don't know if it was, I never saw a city inspection sticker in the window, but they did it. And the property on the other side, which is 12, John? I think it's 12 Jones Street, has just undergone a renovation, but there's this eyesore right between the two of them that belongs to the county.
we'll look into it. I don't know, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. All right. Yes, sir.
Kevin Adams,
Say it again.
116 Rosemary Lane. Okay, so over there on Plank Road, it's over there by the North Augusta Gardens.
Okay.
And those are places that people own. Some people have passed away. And the reason why some of those things are like that, because the younger generation of us are not paying the taxes of their grandparents or their parents or whatever. So I know there's been some renovations over there. She's trying to sell all of that stuff, really. Okay, so I don't understand how. What is that? No, it's Miss Virginia. No. Yes.
Okay, Tom, here's what we're doing, okay? I'm gonna be real, I'm trying to be nice about this. I wanna listen to Kevin talk, okay? We're having a conversation among participants and the speaker, okay? We're here to gather information. So Kevin, tell us specifically what is the thing that we can help you with as far as information? Your question.
Okay, so therefore, the Aiken County can come and take something from us, but we're paying North Augusta taxes. That's just not fair. And I see to where, like, North Augusta Gardens, Miss Pat's been in North Augusta Gardens, Miss Fleming, that's like kind of dear to me. It's sentimental to me. They sold it to another company or whatever. They have a manager and an assistant, one maintenance man, people around there with their air is not running for 2 and 3 weeks. That is not good.
I agree.
The kids can't come outside on the 4th of July. It can't be but 3 people around at a time sitting around, even though there have been some violent crimes over there. There always have been. But how could you tell somebody that they can't come outside, they can't stay outside but 10 minutes? That's not fair. And the guy who's running the thing, I forget his name, he wouldn't give me an application. And I would really like to get online and have him come here and explain himself.
Well, very good question. Unfortunately, we don't have any rights or any ability to tell businesses how to run their business. As long as they're abiding by the codes of that business. So if you have an apartment complex or you've got a restaurant, if how they are treating their customers, how they're treating their residents, that we don't have control of telling them how to run their business as long as they're abiding by the regulations of the city. So that is a problem that I would suggest that you get a petition, that you talk to the manager, you find out who owns that, and get a group and submit information to that company, because that is an issue with that particular apartment complex. And unfortunately, we don't have the right to be able to come in and tell them, hey, you're not doing this and this.
Okay.
But it doesn't make you feel
I'm
any
working
better.
on that.
Good. That's what I would tell you to do. So I know being in business, when you get enough customers or clients or people coming together, you have a voice. And that's what I would suggest, because you're paying for that space. So, but that's what I would tell you, okay?
Mr. Williams, so they're paying for that space, and if he see their name on the petition, what do you think is going to happen then?
Well, I don't have an answer for you. I'm just trying to tell you, it's not. We can't help you in that regard. That's a service issue that they have to deal with that. So whether that's whether you talk to someone in the state, okay. So if they're doing something illegal, with how they're running that place, that's one thing, okay? But as far as, but, you know, you need to, that falls outside our preview of what we do here in the city.
So who do you contact if you have like 4 or 5 apartments around there that don't have air? They have one maintenance man. I mean, how can he control 100 and something apartments with one maintenance man? It's impossible.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
County, because I hate to say this, is that a Section 8?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the Aiken Housing Authority needs to
Maybe
be in
that's
on
it,
that.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's who I'd call,
Okay,
Kevin.
Aiken Housing Authority,
Housing
great.
Authority.
Okay,
And I've got
Very
their
good.
number if you want it, call me.
yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
we'll get you that number, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Let's see, 5:36. So at this point, I'm gonna give one last chance. Anyone else has anything they want to share before we adjourn? Okay, fantastic. Thank you all very much. Good stuff. I will call the August 2nd, 2021 City Council meeting to order. Item 2 will have the invocation Pledge of Allegiance. You're welcome to join me in prayer. Dear God, I lift up this council to you, Lord. I ask that we have a servant heart that is open to discern what is in the best interest as we do the work of the city. I ask that you give us a purposeful resolve as we listen to our citizens and each other as we strive to honor you in our decisions. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start with our roll call from my far left. Please state your first and last name. Britton Williams.
Bob Brooks.
Jennifer McCauley.
Kevin Toole.
Okay, item 4, approval of the minutes. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the regular City Council meeting minutes of July the 19th, 2021, or the study session minutes of June the 26th, 2021? If not, they are approved as distributed. Item number 5, public safety. At this time, I'm going to ask Coker Day of Pedigo Electric Bikes of Aiken to come forward, and Chief Thomas, if you would, for a presentation.
Chief gonna ride it.
I'm going to ask him to ride across stage soon.
Thank you. My name is Coker Day. I'm with Pedigo Electric Bikes in Aiken. We're happy to be donating this police bike as one of our higher end bikes to the North Augusta Public Safety Department. This is a third bicycle that our shop's donated to law enforcement. The first one was a fat tire bike to the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. They found some great ways to use it by patrolling private lands. We donated one to the City of Aiken Public Safety, and now we're happy. We've sold a lot of bikes over in North Augusta and Augusta, and we have a good presence here, and this is another way we want to support our community. So I hope y'all are able to put it to good use. We'll make sure it's well maintained and keeps running.
Thank you, Mr. Day. I just want to say I want to thank Mr. Day and his staff for the kindness, their generosity. It will go to good use. The guys are absolutely thrilled about it. They're fighting over it, as a matter of fact, who's going to get it. So a couple things is we've got great places to put it. The Greenway, obviously, is one area we'll look at. And one of the examples I can give you is Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee down there. It's a great community tool. Kids love this kind of thing, and they're going to stop their parents and make them look at that bike and want to know what we do. So that's a very gracious thing they've done for us. So thank you so much, Coker.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you again. Okay, item number 6, recognition of municipal elected official Institute of Government graduates. I'm going to ask Mr. Charlie Barano. He is the Municipal Association of South Carolina's field service manager. We'll recognize our city's 2021 Municipal Elected Office Institute of Government graduates, Mr. Bob Brooks and Kevin Toole. If you gentlemen will stand up and go around the front. And these two council members will be joining our 2017 graduate, Mr. David McGee, in this accomplishment. So,
gentlemen, congratulations. Yeah, I think you should have, if you haven't gotten it, you should have received your certificate in the mail. But Mayor, Council, for those that are here tonight, the Municipal Elected Officials Institute was created many decades ago to provide a basis of leadership knowledge for our elected officials across the state. So I commend you. I've been in this for 24 years, and I will tell you I learn something new every single day. So to each of you that may have not been through our sessions, I encourage you to do that. We also have an advanced session. So now that you've completed, you can join me on October the 13th, and we're going to be talking advanced. So again, congratulations. Thank you for what you do here in North Augusta.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. I tell you, David McGee took the first step in leadership when he, in 2017, got this recognition in this work. And that now Kevin and Bob have kind of thrown the gauntlet down for the other four of us. So we're definitely going to have to step up and get all of us doing it. But thank y'all for your leadership. And that's pretty neat to have three folks on our city council that have passed that. So congratulations, all of you, and thank you for what you've done. Okay, unfinished business number 7. Ordinance number 2021-08, granting easements across city property located on Georgia and Carolina Avenues to adjoining property owners who rely upon such easements to provide access to their properties. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance for second reading?
So moved.
That's Mrs. Carpenter. Second?
I'll second.
Mr. McGee. Anything you'd like to add to this, Mr. Clifford?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, again, a second reading of this ordinance, and this, in an unusual kind of way, allows our city residents to have access to the streets through an easement, which should have been done years ago. But I appreciate our city attorney, Kelly Zier, for finding this out and rectifying this easement issue. So bottom line, this allows our city residents at these addresses to have proper access to both Georgia Avenue and Carolina Avenue. And our staff recommendation is that the city council approve this ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from citizens? Any discussion from council? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. I will, item number 8 on the new business, I will recuse myself, and our Mayor Pro Tem Bob Brooks will handle this ordinance for me.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number 2021-09 to change the corporation limits of the city of North Augusta by accepting the petition requesting property owners who rely upon such easements to provide access to their properties. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Carpenter, second by Mr. McGee. Yes. Okay. I got it. My bad. That's okay. Let's try again. Ordinance number 2021-09 to change the corporate limits of the city of North Augusta by accepting the petition requesting annexation by the landowners and by annexing 0.5 plus or minus acres of land located on Carriage Lane and owned by Gore and Gore Investment Properties Limited. Do we have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
Well, I'll continue.
Mrs.
Second.
Carpenter,
I'll second.
second. Mr. McGee. Mr. Clifford, do you have any comments?
Well, sir, I think Rachel was able to give you a good update on this at the study session last week. Bottom line is we have a lot of properties on Carriage Lane that are in the city limits currently, and this would allow us to be able to close out that piece. To put them in the city limits is not a forced annexation per se. This is a request. So ultimately, I believe this is good for the city, good for the resident, and it's something that the council should consider.
Thank you. Any comments from citizens on this annexation request? Hearing none. Any discussion from council? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. That's 4 for and 1 recused. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. You did that very well. Now, you try to be organized and planned, and I just overplanned that, so I apologize for that. Item new business, again, item number 9, ordinance 2021-10 to change the corporate limits of the city of North Augusta by accepting the petition requesting annexation by the landowners and annexing plus or minus 14.3 acres of property located along Edgefield Road and owned by Quick Trip Corporation. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Brooks, second, Mr. Toole. Okay. Anything you'd like to add to this, Ms. Clifford?
Mr. Mayor, again, I believe Rachel covered this in the study session, but to orient the citizens at home and in the room today, this is property that is located near Exit 5 on the south side of I-20, and this is something that Quick Trip Corporation is asked to annex. We support this. The staff supports this initiative. We believe this will be good economic development for the city, and ultimately, this is something that the landowner would like to do, to be annexed into the city, and something that the city staff would recommend. So I turn this over to you at the council with our recommendation for approval.
All right, thank you, sir. Any comments from citizens? Okay. Any council discussion?
No discussion, but to sort of Kevin, when he was here during the 5 o'clock hour, see, that's one right there, Kevin, requesting annexation. Okay.
My question was, right before that, would the slide before that, prior, what was the city limit? Okay. Okay, that's all.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. And that is unanimous. Okay. Item 10, Engineering and Public Works. Resolution number 2021-32, authorizing a professional service contract for geotechnical engineering services for the Knobcone Avenue Sidewalk Project. Do you have a motion to approve this resolution? Ms. Carpenter, a second?
I'll second.
Mr. McGee, I'll tag teaming it tonight. Any comments you'd like to add to this, Ms. Clifford, please?
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, what the staff is bringing for you today under this resolution number is a contract. So all contracts, the way our ordinances are currently written, require council approval. And this was an SCDOT requirement for us to move forward on the Knobcone sidewalk project. So there are a number of different things that go into this sidewalk project. It's a lot more complicated than just laying concrete or asphalt or whatever down the side of the road. So ultimately, this was one of the newer requirements by SCDOT. And so Tom Zezer has found vendors that can do this, that are under the larger South Carolina state contract that we can draw from, but it still requires a contract on behalf of the city to a vendor. So that, again, comes back to you all, to the council, for approval. So that's why we're here today asking for this authority.
Thank you. Any comments from citizens? Okay. Any council discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I believe Terracon was the low bidder on this project, and I think we need to move forward.
Okay, at this point, we'll take a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, item 11, any administrative reports, Ms. Clifford?
Yes, sir. So what I would like to tell the council, this is not my formal report, but it did take the sketch plan review to the planning commission as requested by the council. I'm going to give you my formal feedback at the next study session. And also, because I know we have some interested parties here in the room tonight as well, we have an intention of providing a citizen feedback forum for the public safety headquarters design build next Thursday, August 12th, That would be 6 p.m. here in the Palmetto Terrace. We'll put that information out on our social media. And also, we've stood up a new web page under the city site. So we have a Fire Station 1 information page. And we are now standing up a Public Safety Headquarters information page as well. So we'll post updates and information about the Public Safety Headquarters kind of way ahead on that site. So ultimately, we've got one more engagement for our public engagement on the 12th of August. And then we'll be able to, I think, have enough information for the council to be able to make a decision to move forward at one of the two locations I currently have listed for you.
Let me just kind of reiterate, when Mr. Clifford brought this to council last month, we charged him with a series of things that we felt needed to be done properly for us to move forward and for us to even be able to have a conversation. And one was that we asked him to get the feedback from the Planning Commission on sketch review. That was not done the last time, and we felt that needed to be done. We also asked him to reach out to a couple of the nonprofits that had expressed interest to the city about that property. Those three things have been done, and the fourth thing we asked him that we wanted to have an input session, so citizens, because we have gotten questions, and this input session will be an opportunity for all those questions. We will have our contractors, JLA, all the folks there for you to get specific questions you have. This will be a chance for you to voice yay, good things, bad things, your views at that session. So once that's done, then as Ms. Clifford said, he will then be able to bring the information back to council for us to begin that deliberation. So I just want citizens understood, we set very firm guidance of what Ms. Clifford needed to do, and he's been working through that. And at this point, we are still gathering information. So you'll know about this next Thursday at 6 o'clock in the Palmetto Room, 4th floor of the Municipal Center. So we'll be getting information out. So just wanted to reiterate that. Thank you, sir. Item 12, presentation, communication, recognition of visitors. At this point, this is citizen comments. Any citizens that have anything they'd like to address with council that is not on the agenda tonight, this would be your opportunity. Okay, and before I have a few final comments, does council have anything they'd like to share? Okay. Just a couple things. First of all, on behalf of the council, I want to thank Officer Strauss and the other public safety officers who helped in an unusual week, Chief, as you know. They had to kill 2 rabid foxes in Hammond Hill area, and they will continue to monitor that neighborhood. The Friends of North Augusta Animals had several positive comments in the media about the work Officer Strauss is doing, as well as New Outlook with our new council, and I appreciate that organization's positive comments. Also, Officer Strauss and Public Safety had to round up 2 donkeys running loose on Pisgah, so I believe that might be the first time that's ever happened in North Augusta. So you just never know what's going to happen. So we want to thank our Public Safety. They cover a lot of bases, okay? I don't know. I think somebody moved in. They just didn't have anything to enforce me. All right, so reminder, tomorrow night, meet the mayor. It will be at 6 p.m. at SRP Credit Union. That's on exit 5. Councilperson McCauley and Toole will be with me tomorrow night, so hope folks will come out. That will be an opportunity for us to listen and share with us. Again, I mentioned this in the Public Power Hour. Don't forget, we're taking requests through the end of August for ideas for the event on the river that we are going to have in 2022. This event is not going to be an idea from the city. It's going to come from you, the citizens. This is a chance for you to tell us what you want and to ensure it's put in the 2022 budget. You get to decide and vote on what we will do. As mentioned earlier, we are getting the word out. I was up in North Carolina in Highlands this weekend and ran into a person in Augusta who recognized me and said, I heard y'all have an event on the river. I said, yes, you need to submit an idea. So we are getting the word out. I want to thank Sam at the Star and Miguel at Augusta Chronicle. They both have put articles in the paper, and I do hope maybe the TV media will be able to reach out to us. We'd like to get exposure from TV media because I know they will reach a number of citizens that may not be on social media. So anyway, this is a chance for you to have a say. Please, we want to hear from you, your ideas. Last thing, don't forget, you can go to www.northaugusta.net/mayor, and that's where you will see all the vlogs we do, track the public power hour, we've just had one, and get any details on Meet the Mayor. Again, it's just another way to try to keep citizens informed on what we're doing. So,
Mr. Williams,
with, yes, sir?
could you just, for a moment,
I
just
see
explain, just explain to them that at the Meet the Mayor event, you're having 2 council members there, and the reason why others aren't there, because I think it was a little confusing to people before.
Yes,
Just-
good question. What we're trying to do basically is we want to be able to have a rotation where we have different council folks who will appear at different Meet the Mayor. But part of that is because if we have 4 city council, then we are going to have a quorum, and basically that changes it from being a meeting of us listening and having conversation into a formal meeting, and that's what this is for. So we want council to be involved, but we've got to do it in a way to where it doesn't become a formal meeting, because that's not a benefit to the citizens, because we want to be able to listen and be able to have a conversation, and we would not be able to do that. There's a list of things when you have a quorum that we have to do. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, before we adjourn, I want to read, we will be going into an executive session request of the city administrator. In compliance with section 30-4-70A2, the city administrator requests an executive session for the purpose of discussion of negotiations incident to proposed contractual arrangements and proposed sale or purchase of property, the receipt of legal advice where the legal advice relates to a pending, threatened, or potential claim, or other matters covered by the attorney-client privilege, settlement of legal claims, or the position of the public agency and other adversary situations involving the assertion against the agency of a claim. So, do I have a motion to go into executive session once we adjourn? Mr. Brooks, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Toole. So, just to be clear, we will be going to an executive session. We will not, I will be adjourning in just a second. We will not be coming back. The meeting will be over, and right when I hit the gavel. So, I did that already? Did you read that? No, I'm sorry. Discussion involves properties within Riverside Village. Our city clerk is doing a heck of a job tonight. Thank you. It's only our second one of these. Okay, I'm getting better, I promise. All right. All right. We stand adjourned.